that, you know? Like how, like, you know, sometimes older games, basic monsters created a bit more horror feeling in you than even very the lifelike CGI that falls in that uncanny valley, you know? Because then you see everything about it, and it, like, you know, has human-looking spores on his face, and the light is retracting in the right way, and it looks kind of toyish. It looks like a toy, you know. It's like too close to a human.
Yeah.
While, like, you know, the games that look like more ethereal or out of place, sometimes like the off-model and like the low graphics help create a more nightmarish quality to things, you know. But yeah, definitely when they do that Gandalf thing, like it looks too fucking soap opera-ish, and loses all this Middle Earth, you know. And the part of it is how we're conditioned,
Yeah.
you know, like the graininess. It reminds me of a movie world, you know. And if it doesn't have that, you know, that's what Tarantino keeps saying. He said like the old things are part of like the what as a DNA of movies for us right now, you know. Like probably as iPhone 6 can take much better, much higher resolution footage than some of the old the old cameras like Kubrick or Hitchcock used, you know. But those still can like create a scene that is like much more surreal and like unnerving than like, you know, these found footage films, you know, that are like, some of them, I know one is shot on iPhone. There's another like a romantic slice of life kind of movie shot on iPhone. That one's actually, they say, is pretty good. But the horror one, they shot it and it looks gorgeous because iPhone 6 can take really high resolution stuff, but you know, it has none of that technique, none of that stuff. So something, I think low resolution sometimes works a lot better. You know, it's that same thing. You remember, like, there's a law they say is to movie making, especially horror movie making. It's like, don't show your monster too much. You know?
Yeah.
Like Jason and stuff, and all old ones are like that. Like Alien is only on the screen for like 30 seconds, they say. Like something ridiculous you
Yeah.
should, right?
I think
Yeah, like he's on the, I know that.
I
You're,
watched it a while ago.
you barely
the
see it, right?
alien.
That's
For
why,
all
like a
intents and purposes,
puppet.
for a good
That's
part of the movie, it could just be a killer darkness blob.
yeah,
Or,
yeah.
you
It
know.
could be anything. Like if you think about it, watching it first time, if you could forget, like you'd be like, is that like another guy on board? You know what I mean? Like I mean, there's some
Yeah.
parts that ramps up a little bit, you know. But at first you like, is somebody fucking with them, you know? And then like after the fucking chest burst thing, that's when you're just like, oh, it's like, is something happening, you know? We still don't exactly know what it is, you know. Like so there are few reveals. Like I think the most detailed part is only like the upper half rump of the body, right? The rest of it is a lot of bullshit trickery. But I think they have like a full rubbery latex model of the top half of the creature, and like a really
Yeah.
good head one. I think a separate one that's a really good head, you know, with the pod head, you know, but it's like all latexy and like shining back. I've seen a lot of like behind the scenes stuff for that. That's pretty cool.
It amazes me what people can do with movies and
I know, and
technology.
you know, there is truth to that. Like, you know, that there's charm to those old school ways they did it. You know, it's more. I don't want to say real, but I mean that's really the best word to say. But it's not feasible. You can't reach out and touch CG. CG is too sterile and clean. You can tell it's not there. Even the best ones, though, right? There's still something you feel it's not there, and it's like very.
For me,
Go ahead.
the biggest thing with it is it feels vaguely animated.
No, but
It
the ones
looks
that they do an
real enough.
amazing job, it still feels like it's a little too a little too smooth. You know, I feel like all
Yeah,
real
that's what I'm
objects,
saying.
especially creatures, have follicles and stuff that is off model and not symmetric, you know? CG stuff are too symmetric. That's something they should keep in mind. Like humans are, you know, everybody's one arm is slightly bigger than, you know? You heard that, right? Like humans are very disproportionate, you know? Like, not very, I
Yeah.
mean, at a big major level, but it's barely any of our part is the same exact size as the other one. That's why they say it's like 95% of women have one breast larger than the other one. And the other 5% are probably like still the difference, but at a micro level, you know? I mean, it's a moving little organism. It's hard for one of them not to droop a little bit more than the other over a lifetime of random shit. You know what I mean? And just like growth and stuff like that, you know? So when you have like, that's something they
Yeah.
never keep in mind. And it's one of those things that we psychologically pick up, you know? It's like, and like, you know, they put in these creatures that even as grotesque as they look, they're perfectly symmetrical. And it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel the flaws, you know? Don't tell that to too many people, because fucking and I've done graphical design. My AA was in graphical design, and then my degree was in actual computer science, which is like programming databases, which is the most boring non-game related shit out there. But you know, it was in high demand. It was in high demand for a moment. You know, like, and you can get state jobs in say Sacramento because it's state capital, and those are nice. It's like all paid by the
Yeah.
taxpayers, so they waste the money, and you know they do. Because a private company always wants fucking to maximize profit, but fucking a state job, they don't care. It's taxpayer money. It's not their pocket, you know. They'll waste a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, you know, yeah, so I know a little bit about graphics, so yeah, don't do that, because if I ever get in any position, that's one of the first tricks I'm gonna do. I'm like, these creatures need to be asymmetrical. You know, and I don't mean one extra mole on this side, you know, like, we need to come figure out the more specific ways to do it. And you ever played the Silent Hill series?
No, but I've seen enough playthroughs of it that I feel I have a very good grasp on it.
Okay. But I wish you played it, because that's one of those games that the experience of playing it is hella important. Have you had that long ass talk that night? Silent Hill really is. Because, you know, it's not only you're going through the experience, you're the one that have to deal with low ammo and aiming and stuff. And that stress and those little moments counts. And it's still not too late, one day you can go through it. But the point sometimes is say that Silent Hill is the beauty of it, especially the first one was really amazing. Second one really blew it up, and there's the two best ones. And the Room had its own little way, but it wasn't really like the first two. And this new PT one that they did you ever download PT? I think they took it off. It was like a little horror game demo, first person. They put it on PSN, and then they took it out. There was Kojima and like Guillermo del Toro and that guy from Walking Dead.
Yeah. Bastards.
Did you play it?
I was going to download it the day I was about to download it.
You've seen the playthrough, so?
I've seen the playthrough, yeah, like the complete thing and how you...
Yeah, and how you get the extra ending and everything.
Beat it.
That one was really scary, and like I'm jealous because some people played that with Oculus, the modified one that was 1080, and then like a really nice surround sound. And I think that moment when the ghost grabs you when it tells you to turn around is probably crazy when you have a headset on, because Oculus, even the shitty ones I played that was 720, is really immersive, man. But your brain, your vision is so connected to this world that when you fuck with the eyes, your brain is fooled at a primary level. You know, that's our biggest connection to the outside world. So when you see something, especially it's a one-to-one movement, and look around, and it looks around with you, and it looks like you're looking around, your brain is fooled for a second that you're in there. I can see VR when it gets too real. It is very easy for that, like the first Ghost in the Shell type of scenarios to happen, for people to confuse which one is which, you know. Well, very easily, you know.
Yeah.
It is crazy, you know. You don't even need a matrix. Oculus is just something that goes over your head. You're still not moving around with a controller, but your senses are very tricked. It's crazy. And like, so imagine when that girl grabs your face and she's right in your face, she will be right in your face. That's a freaky moment, because that can give me a little jump too, you know. But that's the thing, and that's the cool thing. They kept talking about Hideo Kojima because he's a celebrity, but that's not even the coolest thing. The coolest thing is the guy that did the scenario and the main gameplay for that. Hideo Kojima just presents these things. He's like Tarantino. He like, remember, he presented Machete and all these other movies. He puts his name on it and gets some fucking recognition. But he like the guy that designed that was the guy from Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2 in The Room. So a lot of people like Silent Hill 3, but I feel like that was different enough. That's kind of why the series kind of got bullshit over time. But 1 and 2, this guy that's behind him, he actually studied psychology. And that's why it was such an effective game. It was like there's so many things in it that is based on actual psychology. Like, you know, he would like know that for some weird reason, left turns are more scary than, no, my bad. Right turns are more scary than left turns for the majority of people. The only time it's not like that is when you're left-handed, you know? And like there's very weird reasons for it, but when they took a lot of tests and like, you know, they would take the person's the pulse and they run it through these harder things, and they noticed right turns created unease in most people. So, you know, he would utilize that. He would like make the game like use a lot of right turns. And then the other thing is like he would know
So
like
that's why I feel like games are supposed to scare you, have a lot of a certain type of turn.
yeah, exactly, turns, you know, and like other tricks that are like hard to notice. Especially he did a lot, like, you know, like in the rooms when
It was just my imagination.
no, there's some of it is in there. Some games are just mistakes, but you know, he would like you would be in a room and the camera would be panned to the side, and like so as you're running in the room, the ceiling is coming down, but by such a small thing, and it was a long room to run in, a long corridor. So like by the end, it's kind of really tight just above your head, and it's giving you claustrophobic without you exactly noticing why. You know, so little tricks like this, like the people that were designing characters noticed that. When we set up characters' eyes, actually they made these characters and randomly the eyes were further apart than they're supposed to be by a little bit. Because there's a ratio for people, like how far their eyes can be, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that like it's a normal one, you know? But yeah, so yeah, he intentionally fucked that up. Yeah, sorry, I was killing someone in PvP. He intentionally, like, he fucked it up by mistake, and he tried it, but what he noticed, yeah, it uneases the viewer, you know, because the brain is used to these little information. You know, when they don't exist, or they're like tampered with, like, they kind of go confused, you know. So he intentionally would do that, like the characters' eyes would be a little too far away from each other, more like than they're supposed to be, you know. All these tricks, too many, you know? Like rooms that nothing is going on, but there's like sound of footsteps. Oh, I got a nice parry on him. Yeah, you know, so that was his whole thing. Like, and those little tricks really work on it, you know? And I think it's like stupid that Americans, I don't want to generalize, but has gone too used to the gore stuff. Because honestly, does gore scare people anymore? Legitimately?
Honestly, I am very, very believing in the fact that somebody could literally be split in half right in front of me from the groin to the head and fall in half and be splayed out across the ground, and that my exact response would be, ew, it's on my shoes.
Well, in reality, it would be a little thing, but yeah, you have a point. It's very desensitized, right? Our generation is definitely desensitized. I was an EMT, I told you many times, so I seen my share amount of blood. But the thing I noticed